Thank you. We got about 5 minutes of welcome and introductions and establishment of quorum and adoption of minutes. But I'd like to skip the welcome and introductions and take some time to reflect emotionally, mentally on the events that transpired in Uvalde, Texas. It's not here about policy. It's not here about politics. It's not here about what we all think should be done. This is just to reflect on the loss of human life, of human beings. At the end of the day, regardless of what our beliefs are, we're all humans. This is humanity. And these were children. Children. And I just want to take the time to open it to anyone that has the emotion. If there's an emotion you'd like to express, if there's something you'd like to say, if we'd like to hold a moment of silence, again, please keep the politics stuff aside. Let's just focus on the tragedy that happened and the loss of innocent human beings. I'm opening the floor to anybody. If you'd like to speak about it or discuss it, you're more than welcome to. It affects all of us in one way or another, whether you're a parent, soon to be parent like myself, a grandparent. I mean, if you just have a heart, you'd be affected by this.
Adam, I'd like to say one thing. One of the things we talked about in our behavioral health meeting this morning is it's okay to let people know you're not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with what has been happening. I'm not okay with what's been happening every single night in Portland. I'm not okay with the fact that our children are dying in a place that they should be very safe. It's okay to say, I'm not okay today. Today, I am in need of empathy and compassion. I am not okay. So please, you're not okay. Please speak up. It's okay to say that.
I'm not okay. We've had more shootings in this country than days of the year.
Just before I came up to my computer, my wife and I were just talking about dysfunction in society and how things like this should not ever happen. And my wife and I are very, very concerned. We're grandparents, and this is not something that we would accept. And I tried to think about myself being in the shoes of any one of those people, and there's no way I could cope. I know individually I would not be able to cope. And I that's all I can tell you is this: the loss is so great. It's just hard for at least for me and my wife and the way our values of who we are to think things like this through.
I want to add too, Paul. I'm glad you said that because I have grown children and grandchildren, and my husband and I had the same conversation last night. I don't know. Like, we can't make sense of it, and we're just both so angry, so sad that we have to talk about this constantly and worry. All we do is worry all day long. You always worry about your children, your grandchildren, but this is just, so I want to thank you, Adam, for opening the meeting this way. And I'm not okay. How can anyone in the United States right now be okay, I guess, is the question. It's like we have to support each other and you know, listen to people and let people say what they need to say, and be sad, be angry. And I had a conversation like this with my management team today and said, we need to also, it seems like it's impossible, but focus on something that brings you a little bit of joy if you can, just a little teeny bit every day. You know, mine was a couple baby squirrels in my yard this morning. And so it's not that we want to forget, but you have to do that for yourself as well, that it's okay to be sad and angry and mad. And it's also okay to have a couple moments where you do find some joy and that you're happy about something, because we're not going to survive if we can't do that. So, but thank you, Adam, for bringing that up. This is just, seems like every day there's something else horrible and sad that's happening in the world, and closer to home. I mean, it's close to our hearts. So thank you.
I just think we can all agree that we're better than this as a country, and we're better than this as a people. As a human race, we're better than this. And I'm just going to ask that we all do our part to be better. As good as we are, we can be better. We can be better. We can do more. We can try harder. We can reach out to somebody. We can hug someone. We can do something. We can do something. And let's just try to do better.
You know, Adam, I also want to thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you mentioned the fact that we can do better, and we can also be there for each other. And I'll just offer, I said this in the very beginning when I started here, and I'll continue to say this. I love coffee, and I love meeting with people, and I love sitting down and having conversation. And, you know, I'll put my cell phone number in there. And if anybody during this time just needs somebody to talk to, a text, a phone call, or hey, Gus, can I meet with you in the next couple of days? Let's have a cup of coffee, whether it be virtual or in person. Don't hesitate. That's, you know, glad to help. And also, as we're acknowledging that this is a very challenging time, make sure, as Janet said, take a moment, get that moment by yourself, and seek that help that you may need to work through this. And look for those positives, because, you know, one of the best quotes I heard recently is, there's always a rainbow in a thunderstorm. There's always a rainbow in a thunderstorm. And we definitely are going through a thunderstorm right now with everything that's going on. But the rainbow in that is, honestly, is the people in this room who are here for each other and for our clients that are going through all of this on their own as well. So thank you, Adam, for spending this, allowing us to spend a few minutes just to acknowledge how heavy it is today.
Thank you. I was actually inspired by our earlier meeting to do that. So thank you, Casey, as well. With that said, I know we still have work to do. We still have veterans to care for. We still have our mission at hand, and we have Memorial Day coming up. You know, another stinger. But I do know that next thing on the agenda is adoption of the minutes. So I will take a motion to adopt the minutes.
Move to adopt.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the minutes are adopted. Next is the chair's report. We have a Vets Village update, correct? I got an email that was data from March. Is that the update is that the most recent update we have?
I think that's my understanding. Yes, Adam.
Okay.
Unless there's something different, Amy, that I'm missing. Okay.
Okay, so the Vets Village, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Okay.
Let's see. Sorry, I had it up.
And I don't think we have anybody here from the Vets Village.
Yeah, I don't think we do either. So from the data pulled March 3rd, wait, that can't be right.
Now, Aubrey, I saw Aubrey raised her hand for a minute. Did you want to?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
So, hey, Adam, just a real quick note. I'd like to introduce Aubrey. She is our newest job developer for the Veterans Employment Program down here. She'll be working with me. And we had the wonderful opportunity to poach her very recently from the Veterans Village in Do Good, where she did an awesome job. So as you're going through these questions and answers, we've been out talking to Steve and the folks out there. Aubrey's very up to date because she was instrumental in case managing and helping those folks. So please feel free to ask any questions you can or any questions that come up.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an update for us, Aubrey, I would love to
Yeah.
hear.
Absolutely. This is an update based off of, I don't know how much up to date you guys are at that point. So far, my previous role at Do Good Multnomah for Veterans Village was the navigation specialist, which is a fancy term for housing specialist. So housing wise, it was doing very, very good on the up and up. The numbers should reflect at least one a month for the past 8 months, if not more than that. I believe in the past 8 or 9 months, should be around 11 veterans housed and addressed with their barriers. So it should look very, very good, especially previously that it was experiencing some difficulties in transition of staffing, etc. So it was able to stabilize for some time, and hopefully at this time it's able to continue this forward momentum that it's in right now. There's also an influx of funding for them right now because of the fiscal year. And so they're currently using those and utilizing that fund to address some things that haven't been able to be addressed. So facilities and stuff like that are being updated. I believe they just got a new washer and dryer when Ken and I went out there yesterday. So it's all looking really good out there. I highly encourage anyone who wants to go out there to go out there. I know that the culture prior to was that, no, we should stay away. This is their home. We want them to stay there and do what they need to do. It's not that. They want you to go out there. They want you to see the success that they're doing. They're proud of their success. The veterans are proud of their success, and they want to share that with them. And with you guys, with anyone who wants to go down there. So by all means, if you are curious or you have any questions about the integrity of the village or the integrity of the model or Do Good itself or anything like that on whether or not it is effective, by all means, go out there and check it out.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that, Aubrey, and welcome. Welcome to the team. Glad to have you here. And yeah, I appreciate that update. Sounds like things are going very well over there. Does anyone have questions for Aubrey? If you do, please use the raise hand function and I will call on you from there. Does anyone have questions? Okay, no questions. All right. Next on the chair's report is the VAC presentation during an upcoming BCC meeting. So yes, we will be presenting June 21st to the BCC, and it will be myself, Gus, and Brenda, correct?
The three of us, with you and me primarily being the focus up here. Yes, Adam.
Excellent. And then I know, Gus, you probably know a little bit more about the presentation being put together than I do, right? Have you discussed it with Brenda at all? Any parts of it? Or
Yeah, again, you and I tentatively need to get a meeting. I know we might even have one on the calendar. I'd have to look at my calendar real quick, but just so you know, out of our last VAC meeting, we identified the basic points of what we want the presentation to look like. And if folks would like, I can share my screen real quick and just give you just kind of a brief. Let me, before I share my screen, let me pull up the presentation though. Hold on. And this is just the basic bones of the presentation right now. Adam and I need to continue to get together to finish it up. So just bear with me for just a second. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen now. Can you guys see a PowerPoint presentation? Okay. So the presentation topics really are looking at the things that we've been doing over this last year. So this is the VAC's opportunity to present to the Board of County Commissioners on the work that's been done by the VAC, and also to talk a little bit about what's the next pieces of work being done. So it's a look back and a look forward at the same time, which is a beautiful thing. The big talking points that we're going to talk about is the Veterans Survey, the Mental Health Summit, a little around recruiting, and then talking about outreach strategy. And so, you know, Adam and I, like I said, have got to get together. You're seeing the basic bones of the presentation at this point, but we don't have a fully fleshed out a final copy. Once we do, I imagine there'll be no problem with us sharing with the group as a larger group. I suspect though that because this is June 21st that our presentation is going to be done, that our next VAC meeting will actually happen after that presentation. So we'll be able to come back to the VAC and just have a conversation with folks about the outcome of that. So is there anything I'm missing, Adam, that you might want to throw in there, or?
No, honestly, no, I not that I can think of. I mean, it looks like everything's, I mean, you pretty much nailed it for now.
Yeah. And like Adam said, this will be a presentation that Adam and I will be doing together. We're just figuring out who's doing what, when, and how. And any questions, thoughts, comments? And like Adam said, if you have some, please feel free to raise your hand and we'll call on you.
All right, with that being said, next thing on the docket is the outreach committee update. We did have a meeting scheduled for this week. It looked like we were supposed to meet yesterday, but the meeting got canceled. I'm not exactly sure why. I just got an email that said it was canceled. But I think I haven't received any emails on anyone that's looking to join that committee. So far, I still have it as the same individuals as prior. It's me, Paul, Larry, and Gus, correct? That's the only ones that I know of.
And Felicia as well from our team.
Okay, excellent. Am I missing anyone else?
John's on that. According to our minutes that we just approved, it says Paul, Arby, Adam, John, Felicia, and Gus.
Okay, so thank you, Casey, for that. I appreciate that. So now go ahead, Larry. I see your hand up.
Just to clarify, the meeting got set up and it was set up at a time that it was impossible for me to be there. And some of the other people in the county couldn't do any other time. So what we did is we put it off to next week, and I'm going to try to see if we can get it to the second week. So we are meeting 2 weeks after the regular meeting. So by the time we get to the meeting, we'll be out. So it was my problem. I didn't get the meeting soon enough, and then when it did, I couldn't make the meeting. So
Okay,
sorry.
don't worry, Larry. Thank you. Paul, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Gus was very successful in getting the county communications people to create a nice, simple 100-word or less statement about the need of veterans to inquire to the county as to what they might be entitled to. And I was very, very pleased with that effort, and it really helped clarify it. For some of us, we have trouble saying things in 100 words or less, and this was wonderful. So I was very appreciative of Gus and the team getting something done, and I used that in some. I sent that out as I'm a lead on Nextdoor, and I just posted it up in a simple way to try to get some visibility, in as much as that we want people to, if anybody knows a veteran, tell them, contact this county. And I think that that's exactly what the statement was about. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, so yeah, I would like to, I mean, we're going to meet before the BCC meeting. So I would just like to make sure that we have something prepared for that in terms of our outreach. You know, the next outreach meeting, if we can have, like, I'm in the process of trying to find those groups that we discussed, those underserved populations of veterans, the BIPOC veterans, the marginalized communities of veterans, because obviously we need to make sure that we're reaching out to them as well. So yeah, I mean, that'll be the first meeting, and we should hopefully iron out a plan of attack that can be presented to the BCC on the 21st and get some things going. Do we have any questions about the outreach? Larry, go ahead. You're muted. You're on mute.
I belong to a lot of different groups, and I talk about veterans all the time. And when they have a speaker that comes in that mentions veterans, my ears go up and I go talk to them. I've given Gus a couple of possibilities where he might be able to follow up on the types of people we're looking for. I'm out today. I talk to veterans. I don't really talk about the back because I'm doing so much else, but I am inviting him to the veterans every Friday night we have pie and coffee. So I'm inviting them to come to that so we can get some more comments with them. But that's what I do all the time. Anyway, I just thought I'd say that's one of the big things. And I've been trying to keep Gus and everybody up to good. So I'll shut up because I'm starting to stuff.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Larry. Thank you for letting us know that. Any other questions in regards to the outreach committee?
Oh, sorry, let me raise my hand here. Not necessarily a question, Adam, maybe just a statement real quick. So for those who don't know, Felicia from our office is the primary outreach VSO for our office. But one of the things that she's been doing is webinars on Zoom. And I will say not a big number. We've had less than I think 11 total actually sign up for these webinars. But she was telling me just the other day, of the 11 that have signed up, 4 of them followed up for appointments. So I know that doesn't seem like a big number, but when you're looking at percentages and whatnot, I mean, it's 4 more people that got benefits that they wouldn't have otherwise accessed if not had signed up for this webinar. So the outreach efforts, whether small or big, they have an impact. And I think that's the thing we need to focus on is the impact that they have. So, and she's got 3 more scheduled over the next 3 months that she's going to be doing. And we're looking at maybe even doing some more later down the road. So, so I'm excited for how this outreach committee, like Larry said, we've got a lot of people out there who are interested in what we're doing. We just need to get in front of them and really just start presenting the work that's being done on behalf of veterans in this county. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Gus. Appreciate it. All right. If there are no more questions or comments in regards to the outreach committee, we will move to the next item, which is discussion on family support activities that the VAC can support. And this was something we discussed in our exec meeting, if I remember correctly. Things that we can do to support not just veterans, but the family of veterans, caregivers, those kind of things. Because I think that's another avenue of outreach that can potentially lead to a veteran signing up for something, right? Because maybe if we reach the family member could speak to the veteran, and that coming from the family member might be better coming from the county. So just another form of outreach and another form of support, because I know that it can be tough for family members and caregivers. I know, my wife, for example, I know I'm not easy for her. So I can only imagine. So yes, if anybody has other ideas or ways we can support, Larry, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just going to say, I sent Gus some information on a gentleman who is holding a men's health seminar, but the women's are also invited. And I don't know how Gus feels about it, but if he gets it out, it's free. It's at church. And what he wants to do is talk to, and one of the things they'll be talking about is veterans. And the fact that they need to talk to us. So there's a lot of different things like that, and you just have to keep your ears open.
Absolutely. Casey, I see your hand up.
I would suggest contacting Jill Bahoon at Camp Withicum, who is the family support coordinator out there for one of the units. So I would also say that somehow need to reach out to the reserve units that are also at Camp Withicum, because right now all of our contacts are with the Guard. So I think for both the outreach and for family support, as well as the Behavioral Health Committee, we have to figure out how to outreach to other military installations that are actually here in Oregon. They're in Oregon. They're not necessarily in Clackamas, but they may have people that are live in Clackamas that are serving. We have the Navy and the Marines and the Coast Guard reserves down at Swan Island, as well as there are 2 or 3 reserve units at Camp Withicum. And then finding out who their family support people are, I think would be really good, as well as any of the veterans organizations, the VFWs and the American Legions, because a lot of the families belong there. The spouses will, will join the auxiliary. They have events there that'll be a really good place to like reach out, because it's like, we don't know what the families need. So we actually really need to be talking to the families and talking to the people that are working with them to say, hey, what could we do for you to help out as far as what your needs are?
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. That's a great idea, because I know, we could do family fish fries on Fridays. I know that's something that we used to do in the VFW that I was a part of down in California at one point. Every Friday was a fish fry, and they'd have family members come in, and that was a way to, have some stuff for family members. Before I forget, and I apologize, do want to say, Commissioner Paul Savas, thank you so much for joining us for this meeting. I do appreciate it. Apologize for not mentioning that earlier.
No worries. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Anyone else with family support activities that we can support? And the VA's got that caregiver system, or the caregiver program. I don't know if there's a way that we can, is there anything that we can work with the VA on that, Gus, for information on that, on those families, like families that may need more support than others, anything like that we can do, that we can look into?
Well, and that's a good question. Back to Paul's comment about the piece that we did, that 100-word piece that was done by our PGA folks. Maybe we can do another one of those with another news, like another news magazine, or another one of you guys' newsletters where somebody wants something from us. One of the things that we could talk about is the changes within the VA caregiver program, where they extended basically who could access the VA caregiver program. Prior, it was just OIF, OEF veterans. Now it's even Vietnam era veterans as well. So, and so there's some changes there. We could add to that information. I wouldn't be surprised at people who just doesn't know. In addition, let's not forget that Clackamas County has a caregiver program that we could potentially lead into any kind of conversation as well. So if I guess that would be my plug. Since we have Scott Clemens, who is an Army veteran, who's part of our public and government affairs section, working with us in particular on our communication campaign. If you have an upcoming newsletter or an upcoming veterans magazine where they're needing some information to learn more about Clackamas County, let us know, and I'll work with Paul to get that right up and get it out to folks. Because like Paul said, it was very beneficial and helpful to just get it out and put it in there. So.
Thank you, Gus. I appreciate that. The information on the Clackamas County caregiver program, you said, is there a way you can send info to us on that? I wasn't aware that Clackamas County had a caregiver.
Yeah, so I'll find a link right now, but we'll also include it in the meeting notes as well.
Yes, please. Excellent. Thank you. And Casey, did you still have your hand up for a comment or no? Okay. Paul, I see your hand up.
Yes, I was intrigued with the idea of a targeted group, and I would love to see something that might go out and just say spouses of veterans. Just spouses, and use that as spouses are the ones oftentimes that have really taken a lot of heat, or it's been tough for a lot of spouses, and something that would come back and really attempt to reward spouses and talk to something in a targeted way could really women run the world. So we just have to, sometimes we're smart if we make them our partners in crime and what we're trying to get done. So it's all my thought.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else have any comments on how we can support family support activities as is the VAC? Okay, I do, since this is a new topic, maybe we can give it till the next meeting to think about more stuff. Because I do think that this is an important topic that we should spend some time on. I see Casey's hand up.
So you were talking about the fish fries that you guys used to do at the VFW. So Gus, what would be the logistics versus as well as like insurance logistics for us to do an event and invite not just the families, but like the veterans also, the veterans and their families to some type of a barbecue event, just to, get to know them to get to know us, kind of talk to, give us a chance to talk to them about what it is, who we are. What would that look like?
You're asking a really loaded question, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't worked at the county long enough to really know the logistics or policies around what that would look like, but it's a very...
Come on, Gus, you really get on the ball.
No, but it's a really good question, and it's a really good idea. I would say, let me talk to Brenda about it a little bit more and just kind of get a feel for, what that could look like. I mean, like a veterans luncheon or a veterans after hour kind of deal. I mean, I know that different organizations, Adam mentioned VFW earlier, but I know VFW, American Legion, all of them are doing different things throughout the community. We can always partner with something like that where we're talking about things that we're doing at the county. Sounds like what you're looking for is something that's county supported, kind of driving folks to the back in the county BSO.
Well, not necessarily. And here's the thing. And I don't want to take anything away from the VFW, the American Legion of the County, because those programs have been around forever. They're very proven programs, and they do far more than what I know that they do. But I also don't want to take away from the VAC. Right. But I think if the VAC held an event, just the fact that the Clackamas County Veterans Advisory Council is having an event for veterans and their families, or military personnel and their families, that's going to draw some interest because they don't know who we are. So they're possibly going to want to come and check it out. Where if we, and partnering is always really good, but if we partnered with another organization or something, does that make sense? I'm sorry, I'm really sounding like an ass, but I'm not trying to be. I just, the more I was saying that, I'm like, wow, that just really sounds bad. And I don't want it to sound bad. I just think it's something to really focus on the back.
No, I think it's a good idea. I just be very transparent. Unfortunately, government I need to find out what is the policies around those things.
Right.
And the reason I would think it's a good idea personally, just me speaking personally why it's a good idea, is let's not forget the fact that we've just had 2 years worth of bunkering down, isolation, that kind of, because of the pandemic. This type of event, especially coming into the summer, could be good. Some type of social event could be good to remind folks that we're here, that all along we've been here, we've been doing work, and we're still here, and we want to do work, and we want to help folks. So, I mean, there's some strong validity in that. But I think, Amy, if you don't mind, I guess we might want to put that on the notes, and I'll definitely connect with Brenda on her thoughts on that. And
Because my first thought is doing it at Tyrone Woods Memorial Park. And I'll tell you why. One, they've got that beautiful covered area. There's lots of tables, can always bring extra tables and chairs, but there's something there for the kids.
Mhm.
To have kids just sit and listen to a bunch of old adults talk, they're not interested. They don't care. All right. But if there's stuff there for the kids to do, then the parents don't have to worry about the kids going, the kids can go off and play and have a good time, and we can have conversations and maybe even have a survey at the same time. And and maybe just do it as we could, I know you gotta talk to them, you gotta find out, can we do it? Can we get permission? But in my head, I'm thinking this could almost be like an all-day thing, having like a barbecue at lunchtime, saying, hey, but we're gonna be serving food during this time, but come by any time and learn about what the VAC is doing for veterans, service members, and their families within Clackamas County. So that's kind of what I see in my head.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd like to expand more on that. I'd like to talk more about that. I like that idea. Larry, I did see your hand up for a while, so I'm going to get to you.
Okay, I like Casey's idea, but what I was going to suggest is that we could have that, and if our VFW post, which is only Oregon City, but anybody can come there. We have a First Friday Veterans Breakfast, is just for veterans. We don't, the VFW doesn't. We provide the hall for the people who do it, and they cook the food and everything. Whether they would go for that, I'd have to ask them. I keep bringing these things up because we allowed the Chamber of Commerce, because of this COVID stuff, to use the post because they didn't have any place else to meet. And again, they're not going to do that just with anybody. But Casey has a good idea. You also could do something. It's only in Oregon, or it's in Oregon City. That's a VFW post. But we could do something there, and then maybe later we can do. I like the Tyrone thing. If you did the VFW, there'd be a smaller problem with getting permissions and stuff. But I'm going to shut up. I'm starting to stutter again. Anyway, I like Casey's idea, but that is another alternative, possibly, if somebody wants to think about it.
Thank you, Larry. Janet, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you're talking about connecting with veterans who maybe already are associated with the VFW, and they're aware that I have a son who says that he's probably never ever going to go. I don't know if it's his age or what, but can we find people, like I'm thinking, say, for example, Happy Valley on the 4th of July, they have activities there. Could there just be a table or a booth, or could we partner with, say, some businesses where they even donate the food, and there's a table there. It's like honoring veterans, and that they do hot dogs and hamburgers, and it's free, and whatever it might be around. Maybe even there's another event going on, like the Clackamas County Fair or something, where you're not just. It's like there may be people. Maybe your hit rate would be not super high because not everyone that's coming through is a veteran, but those people that are veterans or the family members of veterans who are not going to the VFW and to these other places, maybe this is an opportunity to capture some of them and give them a card or whatever it is, something to hand out. So just another idea to, could it expand that reach beyond veterans that are already involved with veterans groups? That's it.
Absolutely. I agree. I think because, even if, for example, with your son, if he didn't want to go, you being his mom, maybe you would want to go. and you would go to that, learn about that, and then take that back, and then over time, maybe talk about it with your son, for example. So even if the vet didn't want to go, if the family member, caregiver, anybody, the spouse, anyone associated with the veteran, even a best friend could go and learn more about it, or see what services are out there, they could also take that back and provide that information. Casey, go ahead. I see your hand up.
So, Janet, I think those are really good ideas for the outreach, and I'll tell you why. There's a very huge proportion of veterans and they no longer do 4th of July. There's way too much noise. There's way too many fireworks, and a lot of veterans don't do big crowds. Now, a lot of veterans do, but especially your newer veterans with the Iraq, Afghanistan wars, they don't do crowds. But as far as doing outreach, getting the information out, I think that is fabulous. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of like a park or something that's very neutral. Because yes, the newer veterans, the Afghanistan, Iraq war veterans, a lot of them, they're like, I don't want nothing to do with the friggin' uniform. I don't want nothing to do with VFW, American Legion, or nothing. They're just not that type of a veteran or a service member. Yeah. So, but I think as far as outreach, I think that's great. I think there are some really great ideas. So those are just things, if we're going to plan an event for veterans and their families, those are things that we need to keep, that we have to keep in mind. Is that veterans don't do a lot of crowds, and they don't, when it's 4th of July, I leave. I don't do the noise anymore.
I was talking about just the outreach of reaching people, not having the gathering there, but a family member walking past who's like, yeah, my husband's not here because he won't come because it's 4th of July, but I brought my kids, so that's not having the barbecue there, but, or at a parking lot somewhere, not parking lot, but out there on Sunnyside, Whole Foods, maybe they do something where they sponsor, I don't know, a free hot dog barbecue thing with chips, and there's a couple other community booths or something there, are tables with other resources from Clackamas County, and maybe it's for other transitional housing, and then here's the VAC, and here's this, and there's to help support those, so it's not just about the VAC, and someone's there shopping, and like, my husband won't even click on the link, he doesn't want anything, but I'm going to take this information and try to work on him to try something. So that's just kind of my thought of like reaching those people in a different way.
So for instance, this weekend would have been a great weekend to be at Camp Withicum with a table about the back. It's Armed Forces Day weekend, and the brand new museum is opening up at Camp Withicum, and they're having a day-long event. So, those are things that we need to start watching for as far as like abilities to go do some outreach for next year. Quick question, Gus, and I know your excuses, you haven't been here long. Geez, I just don't get it. But can the VAC do something to earn money to help with our outreach and mental health events that we're going to be having every year?
So I'm going to say I'm going to come back to you with an answer on that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would suspect it would be very tricky, but
Okay.
I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't have a definitive answer.
Okay, so let me ask Larry this, and you, could we do an event where we helped? God, how we'd have to like word it into, well, like the VFW would get the money, but it would be earmarked towards the Veterans Advisory Committee events.
We could work that out.
Money on our behalf.
Yeah, we can work that out. We'd have to go through what the procedure would be, but I don't see, because we collect money. I'm trying to, although I'm trying to collect money right now for a relief fund. But the other thing is most of these cities have fairs and stuff. Like Oregon City has the First City coming up. You can get a table there. Whether you can get it free or not depends on how nice you are to talking to people.
Well, there's the wine walk next weekend. Hello, who's not going to be there?
What I'm saying is everybody has these things, and I used to go to them all the time because Sports Clips used to pay for a table and let us use it. But it works real well. As far as the county fair, we tried it, and we were kind of off on a side, but we really didn't get that much. And somebody can talk to Gina about the time she was sitting in that main building trying to talk to people. And I don't think she thought it was worth it because she just wasn't getting the people to come up. Because that's not what they're there for. But on a street fair, people stop by everything. And if somehow you can have some sort of a gee-dunk cheap that you can pass down, that's a whole other thing. But anyway, you can be there, the people are gonna walk by and they're gonna see it. And if you have somebody like I'm doing at Safeway now and Freddie's standing out and say, Jesus, would you donate to Veterans Relief or something like that? A lot of people say, oh, no. But a lot of people, oh, they'll drop a 20 in the jar or something. So that's the kind of thing that you can do to raise money. And I don't know, again, how the county would feel about it, but I suspect as long as it didn't affect them, they would probably go. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm talking too much, but you're hitting things that I do all the time and I know about. Sorry.
No. Well, and I just, in the thought I had in my head, I just thought of a hiccup. I don't think it's in, what I'm thinking about, I don't think is in Clackamas County. I actually think it's in Multnomah County. Oaks Park. Is that on the Multnomah County side?
No, the other thing is Patty Sears.
Okay, so because this is the reason why. So I'm really good friends with Emily, who she is the producer of everything that goes on at Oaks Park. She looks for at times they have looked in the past. So they usually do a big Armed Forces Day event where veterans and service members get bracelets for free and their family to attend all the events at Oaks Park for the day, right? So a nonprofit I was working with several years ago, we did a huge event down there. We actually got to hand those bracelets out. So we literally got to talk to every single veteran and family member that came through there. And there were thousands. For 2 days we did that. And there were thousands and thousands of veterans that came through there. That is just a huge, but if it sets in Multnomah County, that kind of defeated the purpose.
It is in Multnomah County. Commissioner
That's a
Savas
sucker boomer. Okay.
So we're getting close to the time here. I do want to continue this discussion for the next meeting because I think it's very important. Before we cut it off, though, I do see Paul and Amy. I'd like to get to them before we move forward. So go ahead, Paul.
I wanted to say that we have some great assets in CAN and RB that are important in stability of veterans in need. And I look at Clackamas Community College as this massive asset that we, to a degree, is underutilized, and it provides this opportunity to create skills and money. And then those people have, with the help of Audrey and Ken, can be placed into jobs that can really make money. And this is an asset to me, and something where if we do have a gathering, this is something that where I think that they need tables in a gathering of veterans where we're really lauding out and telling people about how important those resources are. And it's just, I think that, and maybe sometime if we could get a big mucky muck from the VA to come into town, and we could use somebody with a lot of clout or ability to speak out, we might be able to attract veterans into some type of meeting that might not have otherwise gone, just because they're going to have it could maybe say something at behest of what they have earned. Anyway, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Paul. It was a little bit choppy on my end hearing. Amy?
Just really super quick. I was thinking while everyone was talking, and your ideas are fabulous. I was just thinking maybe like something simple at Clackamas County there in the common area in the grass with music and bubbles and ice cream. Just have a little social and then have the VAC there to meet people and also have VSOs. And if anyone's interested in signing up for benefits, the VSOs are available and they can head right upstairs. I think that might be a good way to kind of get started. Just a suggestion.
Thank you, Amy. Actually, that's a great suggestion because then that can connect them with what they need right away, as opposed to say, yeah, let's look at, here's the contact card. Let us know when you're ready. They can go right now and get the process started if they're ready to do that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I think the ice cream is going to be the bigger draw.
Right. Yeah. At least for me. Before we end this discussion and go into member updates, I just want to ask, how did we miss the event that's going on at Camp Withicum this weekend? Like, how did we should have been there, or we should be there. I mean, that's an event that we could have done something at. So I'm just a little curious, how do we avoid missing those type of events? Casey.
So I'm on the mailing list and I just got the invite earlier this week. So I don't know. That I think that's been one of the biggest issues about the military museum there at Camp Withicum is that they advertise in a very limited capacity, because unless you're tied into literally somebody within that community, I mean, I got it, and Andrea sent it to me also, but it was like just this week. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we find out. Maybe go down and make a connection with the museum and say, hey, we would love to be contacted the next time you're going to have an event. If you're allowing tables, we'd love to have a table, and see if that works. But generally, when I find out things about what's going on at Camp Withicum, it's generally the week of the event. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good point for our activities calendar, because maybe if we go down there, we discuss that, we can, coordinate with activities calendar, because I'm sure they know way before when they're going to do that. But okay, with that said, we're going to move to member updates. Casey, I believe you submitted for a member update.
Yeah, and actually Dan was going to come and talk about the program, but he sent me a text just a little bit ago saying he is going to be tied up with a client. So I'm going to take my VAC hat off and I'm going to put my NAMI Multnomah hat on. And I'm going to tell you about a new program. So NAMI Multnomah received funds from Oregon Health Authority and the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs to start a Veterans Behavioral Health Peer Support Program. So over the last several months, we've been meeting on a weekly basis, developing the program, going over different stuff. There are 3 of us that are trained. We are not licensed. There's no licensure for the state of Oregon, but we are certified, Oregon State certified traditional healthcare workers. So we are certified to the state as a healthcare worker. So we have developed a specific program for veterans and service members that are looking for peer support, who are in mental health recovery, addiction recovery, and so forth. We just started taking referrals last week, and was hoping to have the flyer ready to hand out to everybody, but it's not ready. I was also given that information. But I'm going to give you guys Dan's name and his phone number, because he is the one who does the intake. There are 3 of us. There is myself, there's Dan Friedrich, and then there is Tammy Davis. And I know some of you may know Tammy Davis. She's been around for quite a while. It's a pilot type of a program. There are 3 other agencies that also received that grant, and that's Deschutes County, Best Care out of Madras, and the Central Oregon Veterans Ranch out of Bend. And so we meet each organization meets with a clinical supervisor. So we meet with them once a month to go over, if we're having an issue with the client or if we have questions or whatever. So we are supervised by a state licensed clinical supervisor. We also meet on a weekly basis as a team. So Dan's name is Dan Friedrich, Friedrich. And his number is 971. Why is it not coming up? 971 303-2671. So if you have a veteran who is either starting their mental health recovery process or could use some help with different things regarding their mental health, or maybe they're just looking for, maybe they're looking for a type of resource, maybe, or just need some help, however it may be, you can get a hold of us. We meet with them for as long as they want to meet and as frequently as they want to meet, up to 6 months. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And we're hoping that this, we're hoping this program is going to be successful. So then if it is, then we can reapply at the end of the year and hopefully get more funds so we can hire more peer support specialists to be able to help out. NAMI Multnomah is open to veterans in Multnomah, Washington, Clackamas, Marion, Lynn, and Lane County. So we've been doing outreach within the Tri-County area. We've also been doing outreach down in Marion County and down as far as the Eugene Vet Center. So we'll also help navigate the VA healthcare system. If they're having a problem maybe getting registered, we'll help with that. We'll help them get them tied into schools, into the people, that, if they're wanting to go to school, we can help them get in touch with the people at the schools that they're wanting to attend, whatever that may look like. So I'm sure Dan would have been a much better job because he has a little thing that he does, but yeah, so we're really excited about it. It's a need that is really huge right now. We know that mental health practitioners are taxed just like our doctors and our nurses in the hospitals, because they did not have the ability, nor did they have the resource to be able to, once they got to a certain point with their clients, to be able to say, hey, we're now going to refer you here, and then be able to be open for other clients that are in need of a state licensed mental health provider. So we are really excited. And I believe right now we are seeing, I think 3 or 4 clients we have right now. So not too bad with just taking clients in the last couple of weeks. So, any questions? Okay, that's it.
Thank you. This is that's excellent. It's good to hear that this is happening, and hopefully there's more funding to get more going here, because that would be always more funding is good. With that said, is there any public comments? Do we have anyone in the public here today that would like to speak? Anyone with their hand up? Or if you're on a phone, just say no. Okay, last thing I want to say before we go. Jerry Craig, as you know, has stepped away from the VAC for health reasons. And we were just informed this past week that he will not be returning to the VAC. And I've been on the VAC very short period of time, and I can't say enough about Jerry and what he's done. I mean, you guys have known a lot more than I have, and I'm thrown back by just what I've witnessed him do. Through COVID, he was a rock for the funeral services and for those families. He's been there for me personally, and I know he'll continue to do that. And if we can all just take the time to thank him and appreciate him for what he's done, the work he continues to do, and the work he's going to do, whatever it is that he's going to do next, and let him know that he is welcome back here at any time, and is more than welcome to take part in anything that has to do with our veterans, because we all know what Jerry means to them and what they mean to him. And I mean, we can have a motion, or if you guys like to say something, Casey.
We're not in face, so we can't like pass around a card, but can we, Amy, could we maybe put something together to send to Jerry from all of us at the VAC, letting him know that we are thinking about him and we are wishing him well. And, if he ever just wants to stop in and say hi to please feel free to do that. Is there a way, can we do that and just put all the names of everybody that's on the back on there? Would that be possible?
I can help you with that. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Casey. Thank you, Amy. Gus, I see your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Just two things real quick. One, Amy, I think there is a way to do something virtually even. I've seen those a couple of times. Okay, perfect. I don't know how to do it. I just don't. And it works out pretty well. The other thing is that I had a chance to talk to Jerry earlier this week, and I forwarded the information on to Adam. I just want folks to know that Jerry's in a good place. He's healing from his medical things that he's going through, but in very much Jerry fashion, he has not slowed down. He is doing an incredible amount of work with Willamette National Cemetery still. He's doing a lot of counseling work. If anything, he told me, and he wanted the back to know this, that he feels like this is the time to be able to step away from the back, because Adam's doing a great job with the rest of the group that's in leadership here. And so he just wanted you all to know that he's doing good, as Adam said, and we made sure, both Adam and I, to let him know that, hey, we're very much interested in hearing from you occasionally on how things are going, because he's definitely a veterans advocate and resource in the community. So I think that even though Jerry's stepping back from this, I don't think he's gone. I don't think he's not going to be coming back and giving us a hard time and telling us what's going on. So I expect to see him back in this group before too long, just telling us about the things that's going on. So
Thank you, Gus. I really appreciate it for mentioning that. Thank you. With that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I saw your hand up, Larry.
I move that we adjourn.
Do we have a second? We have a second. Did we have a second? Yeah, we did. All right, all in favor of
I
adjourning?
second.
Aye.
Aye. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
RB, I sent you another email.
Thank you.